Good morning. Welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View. It's Monday morning. What a weekend. What a weekend. Make sure you give the video a thumbs up and make sure you subscribe to the channel so we can get closer to that 20,000 subscribers. It's completely free to subscribe to the channel. Right, there's a couple of news stories going around this morning. Going to just jump straight into the Leeds, the Yorkshire Evening Post. They've been talking about that Leeds United have been linked with the one and only Matt O'Reilly again, and talking about how impressive he has been this season, and the fact that Matt's said that it's been going to be very, very difficult for him to leave Celtic amid the ongoing links with Leeds United and other clubs across Europe. He's not going to Leeds, let's face it. He's going to a top team. If he doesn't go to a top team, he'll stay at Celtic and stay in the within the Champions League. Liam Scales, he has had a season and a half himself, haven't he? Having been at Aberdeen last year and getting put out the Scottish Cup by Darvel. Yes, getting put out by Darvel. He now says that he's got less favourable memories of the Scottish Cup last season, but this season he looks to put that immense. And I did say at the beginning of August, that when he was thrust into the position that he was within Celtic, due to the crisis that we had at the time, and the media was saying it was all crisis. I did say that Liam Scales would be the one player that would end up being in and around the team with Cameron Carter-Vickers come the end of the season. How true has that came to fruition, that one anyway? 18 months ago he said it was at Aberdeen, we got knocked out of the cup by Darvel. It was hard to take. He says, but it's been massive. This week I can go on and win the Scottish Cup. Celtic being linked with a couple of players. Big shout out to the Celtic Star. Where are the stories? Celtic Star says that we've been linked with a couple of goalkeepers, and I'm going to stick away from the speculation. I've tried to stay away from the speculation, and because we're going to get linked with everyone. One story says that we're going for one keeper. The very next story that the Celtic Star put out says that we're going for another keeper. We're going to get linked with everyone. It's just taking it's taken for me. It's just taking it out the mainstream media. There's no point in adding to the speculation. Mainstream media will try and throw every goalkeeper under the sun that plays in Europe at Celtic this summer, be it either agents will try and mention Celtic just because everyone knows that Celtic are looking for a top class goalkeeper, and the media will pick it up and say Celtic are looking at. No, they're not. They probably aren't. They've probably got a short list of about 3 goalkeepers that they're currently looking at, and that will be kept under wraps at Celtic. And I don't expect anything to be released until Celtic make an unofficial announcement that they have put a bid in for a player. Well, they won't, but the other team will, and that's when it usually comes out. Celtic always keep it in-house, and rightly so. There's no need to tell the world what you're trying transfer-wise, especially not any other teams in Scotland. Anyway, Joe Hart, the Shropshire Star this morning put out in their publication. It's not often that Celtic get named in local papers within the deep, dark depths of England now, is it? Goalkeeper Joe Hart says it's hailed as a special moment of his career, making his final league appearance for Shropshire's Joe Hart. He says the Shrewsbury-born 37-year-old received a huge ovation after being taken off in the 87th minute after Lewis Palmer scored the winner in the 3-2 victory over St Mirren at Parkhead. A huge banner was unveiled at the start of the second half that declared Super Joe Hart. Hart made his final appearance at Celtic Park. The 75 times capped England international is now looking to clinch his 7th trophy of his Celtic career when his side take on the Rangers in the Scottish Cup final on Saturday. And I have said that the Scottish Cup final being held on the 25th of May is a special day for Celtic, and I think it'll be another special one. I have said that Celtic will win this. The pressure is off the Celtic players this week. The Celtic players will know that they'll go into training today, and it'll just be a normal week. A normal week for them, heads down, feet on the ground, making sure they do enough to impress the boss. Everyone will be vying for places to get ready to get taken away to the hotel on Friday. Players will be getting measured up for their suits this week. They'll be getting the suits done and done. Well, they've probably had that done already, wouldn't they have? But they'll get the suits delivered this week, and they'll all head off to Hampden in the sun on Saturday. Will it be Hampden in the sun, the Celtic 7 and the Rangers none? It's going to be a fantastic day. The pressure will be all on Rangers this week, if you ask me personally. I think the Celtic team knows that they can just do what they've been doing the last couple of weeks and not do what they were doing at the earlier part of the season where they played one good half. I think that these players know that Joe Hart is leaving Celtic. He will want to go out on a high. There'll be other players that will know that they will be leaving Celtic. Also, some players that will be glad that they're leaving Celtic because they've not had any game time. The Rangers players will know that they can have the chance to win the double and put a little bit of a smile on the sad faces of their fans. But it doesn't really matter, the cup, really, does it? Because it's all about winning the league this year. It was all about winning the league. Every Celtic fan that you speak to would forego the treble to make sure that they win the league this year, just to make sure that we are in the Champions League with that massive, massive pot of cash. The speculation is going to be absolutely rife for weeks to come with what player and what player will not come to Celtic. I'm not going to add to the speculation about goalkeepers because there is absolutely no point, really. And there's no point until Celtic make a concrete offer. Publications, Celtic blogs, they are just blogs. I mean, people are saying that they're professional journalism, and fair play to them for getting their first chance in journalism through a blog. But I just see it as a blog. I mean, I've got blogs, and I'm not a professional journalist. It's just that is it. Anyway, let's see if there's any other Celtic headlines that's worth kicking around this morning. Obviously, the transfer news is Greg Taylor admits radio silence of the new contract. That will come out, and Greg Taylor knows that Celtic will come up with the contract when it is good. They'll get it over the line. There's nobody's talking about contracts when there's still the Scottish Cup to go for. So asking Greg Taylor about what's happening with your contract situation, well, fuck all, because we've got a Scottish, we've had the league to win, and we've got the Scottish Cup to focus on. You know, you're talking at the end of the season. We're still in we're still in the trenches of battle, for goodness sake. So for people like the Celtic Star and all these other blogs that try to get information out of Greg Taylor the other day, there's not really any point. It's just as bad as the mainstream media trying to get a bit of information. And it's like, well, I'm not going to talk about it. I've got far too focused on trying to win things at Celtic. And then that is historically, I mean, it's always things that happen at the end of the season. You sit down with a manager and it's like, are you going to get a new contract or are you not going to get a new contract? He's got a year left on his contract, so there's no big deal about it. Celtic can lead it until near Christmas is what they'll probably do, and they'll offer him a brand new contract. They might do it this summer, but who cares? I don't think that Greg's overly worried, and it's all just making headlines. Anyway, the Celtic Star go that Bayer Leverkusen goalkeeper is on the radar, and then the Celtic Star again goes Man City goalkeeper. It's just fucking. It's just you as well just Paul. It's just the same as the mainstream media. Stop adding to the speculation. Just wait until Celtic actually make an official offer. They're not considering. How do you know they're considering? Has someone inside Celtic told you that they're considering the goalkeeper? You're telling me that they're considering the whole fucking 20 goalkeepers that we've been linked with so far? Bullshit. Absolute bullshit. Celtic will have a short list of 2 or 3 keepers, and then that'll be it, and they'll work their way down the list appropriately to the one that they think they can get the deal over the line. It is as simple as that. Stop adding to the nonsense that is out there in this football media, in the mainstream media. Anyway, other Celtic headlines this morning. Liam Scales obviously put to bed the criticism of the Scottish Cup from last season. Michael Stewart's given his verdict on the financial reality and potential summer budget for Celtic. The potential. Here we go again. Remember last year when it was told that we had this big pot of cash and we were going to spend 30 million? Instead, we sat with 72 million in the bank when it came to the financials, and that upset a lot of fans, and there's no need to sit with that kind of money in the bank when you're a club like Celtic. Now, you can understand that the club has put down and laid foundations and started building the roof for the brand new stadium for women's football, and I think it's right that the women have their own stadium. I mean, that does happen down south, but there's a lot of investment needed in the women's game in Scotland. When you see that the big crowds that women's football get down south, you're never going to get that in Scotland because we can't even get big crowds in Scottish games in the men's football in Scotland. That's a conversation for another day. But Celtic did put down 20 million for that. I wish they'd put down the 20 million for the hotel to be built that the plans were passed for years ago and the new ticket office. But I think that would bring in more cash into Celtic. Anybody that thinks that the hotel complex wouldn't be a success would have to be absolutely off their minds, because when I know all the Irish buses that come over and they do overnight stays when they come to watch Celtic at Celtic Park. They would fill out the hotel themselves once a week for 2 nights, guaranteed. And then you have other people that want to come and see Celtic Park as part of a historical journey when they come to see tourism in Glasgow. And people do tours. They would stay in Celtic Park just to say that they'd stayed in the Celtic Park Hotel. It would become a tourist attraction in its own right. Celtic, get your finger out, and that could make more money for the club. And that's what the club ultimately is all about. Anyway, it's all about the Scottish Cup this week. It is all about doing it on the 25th of May again, a day that is synonymous with Celtic folklore. And this weekend will not be any different. We will win the Scottish Cup on the 25th of May. Our team have it in them. The players have it in them. They know that they have nothing to fear this week. They will be in training this morning right now with a smile on their face, thinking about what happened at the weekend. But Brendan Rodgers and the backroom staff will say, doesn't matter what happened at the weekend, back to work. And if you're not focused this week, you only win the team. It's as simple as that. And on that note, have a fantastic day, Celtic fans all around the world.